you and I have a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 year roadmap. I've been preparing to be a father my entire life. I intended on being a father when I was a kid because I didn't have a father and I wanted to be a great father. Mm-hmm. So figure out your time perspective with your partner. And if you're single, definitely reflect on your past relationships and figure out where this goal's in conflict or time perspective in conflict.
Having a humble, heartfelt conversation about who has the longer time perspective is going to be really helpful. So let's play a game. Like, how far out can you see? And again, a humble heart conversation that helps to set the safe space for you to actually literally like, okay, can you see it? Close your eyes. Can you see a day from now? Okay, what's going to be happening a week from now, a month from now? And then see which partner can see further.
Conscious couples, business partners, and individuals, welcome to the Conscious Couples podcast, where we share our life, love story, and relationship expertise to help you consistently cultivate the most magnificent relationship possible.
Never again will you feel hopeless and alone in your intimate relationship challenges. We'll help you have the courage to be your authentic self, communicate effectively, and constructively resolve conflict.
Having accumulated thousands of hours coaching, speaking, podcasting, and hosting live events with conscious couples all over the world, Alan and I are here to guide you in all things relationships.
Thank you again for tuning into the one place where it's not about you or me, it's about the we. Conscious couples and individuals, welcome back to the one and only Conscious Couples podcast. We have episode 196 today. Mm-hmm. We are excited.
We're very excited.
Will your relationship last the next 10 years? We are rooting for you. We're also rooting for us. Before we jump into this episode, I want to give a huge shout out and thank you to Next Level Podcast Solutions for producing this show and 69 others. Whoa. Personal growth, self-improvement, self-development, mental health. We are spreading so much into the world that I needed as a kid. Very cool. Mm-hmm. Before we jump into this episode, my love, we were joking earlier. It's a little darker in here than usual. Usually we record during the day. What's your intention for today?
My intention is for the couples that are listening to this and the couples that are joining us that want to grow together, not apart, to help flesh out some of the things that we've learned, not just in our experience in coaching couples for now over 5 years. Mm-hmm. My goodness.
Yeah.
But also,
our 6-year anniversary was in October, my love.
Yeah.
So we started doing service Saturday.
We did.
A year into our relationship, so 5 years ago.
Right, 5 years ago. So using that experience that we've developed in our practice and then also bring in the studies that are now emerging since we got started so that people, you dear listener, can really benefit from the evidence that is now here so that you can work on your relationship.
First and foremost, everyone, we have a PDF of the research in the show notes.
Please click the link in the show notes to see that.
Check that out. It is, 12 pages or something like that, maybe even more than that. It's a lot.
You can tell a good research study when their citations are really long.
Yeah.
Because it's well-researched, it's a meta-analysis, and it's not full of shit. So,
nice.
Big fan.
We can swear on here. You do you. But she said full of shit, for anyone out there who wants to know. Shiz,
like
yeah.
Shiz University from Wicked.
Nice.
Welcome to Shiz.
Welcome to Shiz. If you've not seen Wicked, Evolve Movie Club is the place. Do you want to talk about Evolve Movie Club
Evolve Movie Club may or may not have December's movie be Wicked, but or Wicked
number
2.
2.
But I feel like I can't announce that here yet. But oops.
If you, nice. Yeah. If you do want to be a part of Evolve Movie Club, I've not missed. I am the most consistent
MVP of EVMC.
Evolve Movie Club, EVMC, nice. The MVP of EVMC, excellent. Yep. We're gonna get into the episode now, but I am winning for sure.
It's a blast.
All right, real quick. So on social media, I posted this photo of you and I. Boom, right there.
Oh, he's jacked.
Thank you.
She's jacked.
Yeah, thank you, sweetie.
Wow.
And it is one of our favorite songs. I'm gonna play it quickly for the people. This is fun.
I did not expect that at all.
So it's Shania Twain. And I don't know this for sure, but I think you can play up to 10 seconds of a song on YouTube without the issues of the rights for the copyright.
That's
for the
exciting.
music. So that was Shania Twain. Welcome to.
That's what we work out to.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not. But it is.
That's
we
cute.
have
That's
a
on our love song.
Yes, we have a playlist. We
Very
love
cute.
songs, and Shania Twain is on there because she's awesome.
She's an OG.
All right, real quick. So I'm gonna read what I wrote, and it was on that post. For any of our amazing conscious couples out there, we did a Relationship Talks virtual event on setting and crushing goals with your partner, as we do.
One of the best.
And Emilia and I recommend having joint fitness goals together. Hence the fitness gym photo. In the US, the latest stats. Now listen, we know this is a global show. I just am using the stats from the US. This study was in the US, okay? In the US, the latest stats show that more than 40% of first marriages end in divorce. And second and third marriages are even higher. Now, you might know the answer to this. I don't know if I do. Is the study a US-based study? I know it was done in 2016.
I do believe so.
Yeah.
But I do have a lot of meta studies swirling in my head that might be telling me otherwise.
Because these stats are something that I looked up. I'm not necessarily sure I found that in this study. But anyways,
Yeah,
so for anyone
either way,
interested, there's a study called The Effects of Lack of Joint Goal Planning on Divorce Over 10 Years. I'm going to read that again. The Effects of Lack of Joint Goal Planning on Divorce Over 10 Years. That was done by Judith Geer, David Almeida, and Lynn Martyr in 2016. And it showed that couples who set and pursue goals together are far less likely to divorce. Conscious couples, it's been proven. Couples who get fit together stay together. Let's effing go. I added the effing. 2 people commented that are listeners of this show.
Wow.
Shout out to Tiff and Jerry. Tiff said, "Oh, tell us your fitness goals. Are they the same?" And I kind of went off. Not the exact same. The first is a process goal.
Ask us about goals
Yeah.
and we'll be your very best friend.
You know it. Seriously. So this is what I wrote. The first is a process goal, which is 60 minutes of exercise per day. We started with 30 minutes per day, March 1st of 2022, which was 3.7 years ago. And now we slowly ramped up to a full hour over the years. We also shoot for individual PRs when we weight train together. And we both have weight goals for each quarter. Then there's adaptive goals like eating more % whole foods, plant-based, etc., and then there's supplements, mobility, sleep, and hydration. No big deal.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It's a lot.
Different things that we've done, from timing to the cleaning of stimulants to even like packaging little things. So like your fitness goals or our fitness goals have rolled out into be like so many other goals that we have. So
Yeah,
we sufficiently overwhelmed Tiff.
I know. While I was typing this, shout out to you, Tiff. I was like, she's never going to ask me again.
Oh,
I'm joking. I said it's a lot, laughy face. Jerry said, good stuff. I can definitely say that in my previous marriage, the main reason we struggled is because we didn't have an agreed upon future we were working towards. I think that's very common.
Yeah, it is.
And he said, I'm recognizing now how drastically things are different with my current partner in my current relationship. I've actually reached out to Jerry on his Instagram. Him and his wife work out together, and it's been awesome to see.
That's great.
And so essentially, I'll read this briefly. How are you, brother? Thanks for sharing this. Emilia and I know that if you aren't consistently checking in and learning from the past, building the present, working toward a mutually designed future, you'll inevitably grow apart. Yeah. Goals and core values and conflicts sneak up on couples. And consistent check-ins have been tremendous for us and so many of the couples we coach. I appreciate your perspective. I hope our paths cross again soon. Jerry was someone I went on his podcast. He had, I forget the name of it. It's something about wolf pack or the wolf motto or something like that. I remember I loved it because obviously, I love the wolf.
Yeah.
But anyways, like Bush Tucker wolf.
Bush Tucker wolf.
So the one quote we're going to share from the study, and then I want to talk to Emilia about her GPS metaphor. Life's GPS is what we call it. And then what we do with our conscious couples, which is basically make sure that they stay on the same page in pursuit of their dreams. And I've said to you many times, I don't want to be at the top of this mountain, not in love.
So cute.
Right. Nice. Our findings show that this is a direct quote that Emilia read for me earlier from the actual study itself. Our findings show that the less people plan jointly with their relationship partner, the more likely they are to experience divorce over time. the stats in the study showed that every time, I'll let you share it, but 46% increase in likelihood of divorce every time you are not on the same page. And again, we're paraphrasing the studies in the show notes if you want to read the PDF.
Yes. So to translate that in like your real life, right? Let's say, for example, you've been listening to the Conscious Couples podcast, you've been coming to the RT events, and all of a sudden you have picked up through our positive influence that you and your partner are going to do check-ins. Awesome. That's great. Because we at the Conscious Couples podcast and in the Conscious Couples community, we are the type of people who want to grow together, not apart. And so we leverage the systems that Alan and Emilia have created in efforts to keep our relationship growing together towards something, not apart. Okay, cool. So you and your partner now have weekly check-ins. And let's say it's that time of day or that time of week where your partner comes over to you and says, hey, it's time to check in. And you're going through it. You're having, let's say stress, your mother-in-law or whatever, something happened. And then all of a sudden you're like, you know what, babe, like, let's check in later. Not a big deal. I just have to do blah, 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 whatever. You blow it off. You never end up coming around back to that check-in. What happens then? You literally just increased your probability over a 10-year span that you and your partner are gonna get divorced. Now, we don't think about those little tiny things stacking up to such a big, drastic matter. But what we found in our coaching with couples is that it's those little things that stack up over time that are seemingly insignificant that is kind of the Achilles heels for most relationships.
So I have to do this, which is I'm going to try to explain what the 46% increase in probability of divorce actually means.
Please.
All right. So if couple A has a 10% chance of divorce, a 46% increase means they go from a 10% chance of divorce to a 14.6% chance. Okay. So I think that the study freaks people out a little bit with the 46%. If I were to say, hey, you're 46% more likely to get in a plane crash, people would be like, oh no, that's horrible. But wait, hold on. Okay, but wait, there's a 0.000% 1% chance that you get in, and that's not the exact stat, but I read this actually earlier today. You're 1,000 times more likely, this is in the book Rationality by Steven Pinker, you're 1,000 times more likely to get in a car accident than a plane crash. So the point that I'm making is when you increase the probability of divorce by 46%, it doesn't mean you have a 46% chance of divorce. It means if you have a 1% chance of divorce, you have a 1.46% chance. So my engineer couldn't go on without talking about that first. I have written down divergent versus convergent. So we've seen couples that have goals in conflict. One person's going this way, one person's going this way. Imagine you're driving across the country. One person's going to Northern California, the other person's going to Southern California. Obviously, you can't take the same car. So that's the metaphor. The check-ins, we have a bunch of different things that we do for check-ins. Emilia and I check in on a couple things, fitness being one of them, finance being one of them, and then family being one of them. What do you recommend for our listeners?
What I recommend for our listeners is very similar to what we did recently with one of our couples that we work with. Shout out to you guys if you're listening. And they're in a time and place in their life where they need to be very focused on, quote unquote, the now. And one of the partner who is expecting come January, their first child, is having a really hard time at focusing in on long-term goals because her focus is so much on the now, the making sure that the area for the baby set up, et cetera, et cetera. And that's created a significant challenge in their relationship to actually be aligned to their 2-year and 5-year goals. So the first thing that I would recommend, and you and I had spoken about this after and reprocessing that, is for any conscious couple that doesn't have a shared goal that's beyond the 3-month mark, start there. Start having a shared goal that's a year out from now. Start there, because you and I have both talked about on this show how not everyone has the same time perspective. So you and I have the longest time perspective that we've met, but most people can't see their week out or their month. They can't see what the future looks like or have that level of clarity beyond a month or a week, or other people have different time perspectives.
Well, we watched in real time, the male in the relationship, the female in the relationship got overwhelmed when we talked about their dream home.
Yeah.
And the male didn't really. And I've seen that coaching. I've been coaching now for coming up on 11 years. And when you start doing, so it's seconds, minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, quarters, years, decades, lifetime. Where did you get overwhelmed?
Hi, everybody. I wanted to jump on here and talk about the Conscious Couple podcast that I've been listening to for a while now. And I absolutely love, whether you're single, in a relationship, or not, this is the podcast for you. I mean, think about it. If you're not in a relationship, look at it like building a house. If you were going to build a house, wouldn't you get the instructions, figure it out, look it over, start practicing some of the little things so that once you start doing it, it's going to be the best house that you ever built? Or if you're in the house already and there's issues that are going on with it, aren't you going to try and fix them? Or think about it while you're building the house and the base layer, there's some issues there. Don't you want to correct those and fix them before you work on the rest of it? Have a great day, guys. Awesome podcast.
The truth of the matter is that some people start getting really overwhelmed when you start thinking about decades out. So some people...
Beyond the week.
I know.
Honestly, I would say most people get overwhelmed beyond just talking about the week.
I wish that I had stats to show
Me
this.
too.
But
Me too.
they hooked up people to an fMRI, and I wish I could quote the study, but I can't. And they found out that the majority of people could only envision a stranger 10 years out. And this is the executive function prefrontal cortex part of your brain that scientists call project. And you can project into the future. And so you and I, when we met, you shared your goals with me. I shared my goals with you. And Emilia, and I quote, said, "You never thought past 60?" And she's laughing because I was like, I figured that, I mean, I knew, right? I did. I didn't know that you wanted to. And so, but the truth of the matter is we joke and we laugh, but that's actually why we're coaches, because coaches are so future oriented.
Yeah.
And in chess, there's a great metaphor where a beginner can think 2 to 3 moves ahead. A novice can think 3 to 5. An amateur can think 5 to 7. Expert can think 7 to 9. A master can think 9 to 12, and a grandmaster can think 12 to 15 moves ahead. And so a grandmaster chess player thinks 13 to 15 moves ahead and overwhelms all their friends and loses all their friends and family. I'm kidding.
Which is what we do for our clients.
100%.
And in that real time, that was a great example of that.
And we're doing that in this episode, actually.
Yeah.
No, but here's the thing. What if you have one partner who has a time perspective of 10 years and one partner who has one of 1 week? There's going to be a conflict there. And I felt that way in my past relationships. I was always the one with the longer time perspective. And I go on other podcasts all the time and I'll say, my beautiful girlfriend and future wife, and everyone says, "Oh, congratulations." And I say, no, well, it's in the plan, but we're not engaged yet. And they think I'm the weirdest person ever.
Yeah, we're weird.
And I literally I said, "I'm preparing to be a father." And they're like, "Oh, congratulations." No. I'm not, we're not
Well, because most
expecting.
people only prepare
Exactly.
like the month before,
Well,
or the
here's
week before, or the day before.
Well,
you and I's preparation are years
They
and
prepare
decades before.
once they find out they're pregnant, for sure. But at the end of the day, the point that I'm making is you and I have a 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 year roadmap, and we did from when we met. And I'm preparing to be a father long before. I've been preparing to be a father my entire life. I intended on being a father when I was a kid because I didn't have a father and I wanted to be a great father. So the point that we're making here is figure out your time perspective with your partner. And if you're single, definitely reflect on your past relationships and figure out where this goal's in conflict or time perspective in conflict. I'm going to start calling this time perspective in conflict because quite frankly, it is so obvious to me in hindsight that I had such a long time perspective in comparison to my past partners, and that was always in conflict, and I didn't really know it. It was kind of beneath the surface, and it would just come up.
Yeah. So one thing that I want to ask you, and then I have a deduction that I think would be helpful for our community members, is whoever has the longer time perspective, do you personally think it's their responsibility to guide the person with the less time perspective,
Yes, but only if they're humble.
Right. And only for so long, right? Because training wheels.
Well,
Why? So like, for example, in someone listening to this is saying, okay, cool. First thing, we're going to have a goal based on what you guys said a year out. Oh, shoot. Based on what Alan just said, now we have to figure out who has the longer time perspective, because whoever has a longer time perspective, let's say it's Joe and Annie, right? Joe has a longer time perspective. He can see a year out. Annie can only see 3 months out. Is it Joe's responsibility to pull Annie to the check-ins on the week to week to make sure that they're aligned?
If Annie is humble.
Okay, great.
Okay. So whoever, we do pilot, co-pilot, whoever has the longer time perspective, whoever has the highest awareness in a given area is going to have the longer time perspective. So if you think of when we're all infants, we come out little, I was a little fat, cute blob who could barely hold his own head up, okay? Watching Winnie the Pooh, there's a photo of me, I was just like, oh. Okay.
Cute.
The truth is, I wasn't thinking decades out at that point.
Yeah. Are you capable of that?
You're not neuroscientifically capable of that. Your brain is not developed enough to actually be able to do that yet.
But unfortunately, we believe that most people, if they're adults and they kind of fit the 5'3" mode, that they are capable
What's
of
5'3"
doing
mode?
that. Like 5'3", which is the kind of average of height for like different women and whatnot. But
Okay.
like we have this quote unquote adult body. That's what I'm referencing. So we think that the brain's developed to that degree, when in reality, the brain and the executive functioning isn't necessarily as developed. Therefore, they're not as capable. And I know a lot of people, the time perspective conflict, there's a lot of frustration in that, because there's this belief that they can just get capable over time, instead of the recognition that it's a skill development over time.
Yeah, Kevin jokes, he says, people on other podcasts ask him, what's the vision for the future? What's the next decade look for NLU? And he says, wherever Ellen points. He's being playful, but the truth is he doesn't actually know,
Right.
because he's not able to project into the future to that extent. So I guess, how do we rein this in for people? We've got 3 minutes on the clock. How do we get people to a place where they're at least having this conversation? And here's the thing too, come into this with humility. If you have a partner, in the past, it's very clear that I had the longer time perspective, but I had a partner once that didn't want me to know that.
Yeah.
They pretended to think about their future, and in hindsight, she couldn't think past a couple months, maybe not even.
That's tough.
And yeah, right. And you feel the same way about your past partners too.
Definitely.
And quite frankly, I want to share this with everybody as well. Before I met Emilia, I said, I need to find someone who has bigger goals and dreams than me prior to meeting me. And the reason why that is because I knew that if you had bigger goals and dreams than me, that means you had a similar time perspective.
I have a necessity to get us sitting down on our weekly life optimization meetings, so that we're on the same page, that we're working towards our goals, that we're doing all these things.
So we just did a life optimization meeting right before hitting record, like downstairs earlier. And that was your goal, to get us to sit down every single week. We call them life optimization.
Yep.
I guess weekly check-ins, you and I used to do check-ins every week, even when we first met. Like, what do we say to our listeners?
Yeah, so there's 3 things I'm hearing come out of this that is practical, tactical takeaways for them. So the first thing is, go into this with a humble heart. A humble heart looks like, hey, partner, or hey, Annie, or hey, Joe, like, can we have a
howdy, partner?
Can we have a quick check-in around time perspective? I heard from Alan and Emilia that what helps couples decrease their probabilities around divorce, which I don't want to get divorced, right? Like, I don't want to grow apart. But what I heard from them is that having a humble, heartfelt conversation about who has the longer time perspective is going to be really helpful. So let's play a game. Like, how far out can you see? And whoever's leading that conversation, like, again, a humble heart conversation that helps to set the safe space for you to actually literally, like, okay, can you see it? Close your eyes. Can you see a day from now? Okay, what's going to be happening a week from now, a month from now? And then see which partner can see further, and start there, right? Start there. That's number 1. Okay.
And that depends on the subject. In fitness, I could see further than Emilia. In homes and real estate, you could see much farther than me. And I think it's totally based on the subject.
I love that distinction. I think that that's a nuance that we should hold out on for our listeners, but I love that you brought that forward because of how critical that it's so true. It's so true, right? Awareness creates that projection and pattern. So anyways, number 2, I think that with that humble heart, knowing that, I think what we've shared here is, okay, set a goal together that you guys both, in a zone that you both care about. And fitness is a great area because most people care about their fitness. They might not acknowledge that or share that, but what's a very safe, quote unquote, goal that's just beyond your comfort zone? Mm-hmm. And then from that, so once you decide what that is, a year from now, whoever has a longer time perspective now then gets the responsibility to check in every single week or every single month based on what we've talked about in this episode.
We call that the DRI, directly responsible individual. Mm-hmm. And Emilia and I wear a DRI on different things. So she does procurement for the household, so she's the directly responsible individual for that, right? Mm-hmm. We're a lot. This is good. This is important.
But I think that that's a very simple way to start to integrate this episode. And the last component that I would say on that, the person who brings you to the table, the person that's being brought to the table. So let's say, for example, Joe is kind of steering them and making sure that they check in. Annie can't blow that off, because Annie, if you're out there, don't be that kind of chick or don't be that kind of person where your partner's trying to bring you to the table to literally decrease your odds of divorce over a long-term period. Don't be the person that blows that off. And those are 3 simple steps from this episode.
You have a past client. You coached both of them. They're a married couple. Mm-hmm. And one of them was blowing off the check-ins.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. And one of them was really goal-oriented and growth-oriented, and one of them was not, and trying to hide that. Yeah. Can you give us anyone in that situation, what should they do?
The person with a higher growth orientation, which also tends to trend in correlation with a higher time perspective. Call your partner out on their lack of humility. Call them forward and invite them into a humble heart conversation.
See how they respond to that.
Yep.
And some people will respond very positively. Some people will avoid or attack. And that's a big tell on humility.
The best way to do that, and this is what I suggested to my client, and thankfully her partner responded really favorably to this and everything changed after that, was rooted in curiosity, not in judgment, but not denying the receipts that she has. So it said something, or she said something along the lines of...
What do you mean by receipts that she has?
The data points that she has, not pretending to look in the opposite direction of how her partner's blown off multiple different conversations. Mm-hmm. So those are the quote unquote receipts. Those are the data bits and evidence that the partner that I was coaching came to the table when she asked for a humble heart conversation. And she said something along the lines of, hey, I noticed that you say you want this goal, or you say you want to get better at whatever, right? Her goal was like habit tracking, right? But I've recognized that like every single time I want to talk habits with you, you like try to give me advice when you haven't tracked habits at all. And I've been tracking them for 6 years. Mm-hmm. Like, can you help me understand kind of what's going on there? Because from my perspective, it looks like you don't want to go near this conversation.
Should she call her partner out for being arrogant? I remember
she's indirectly calling her partner out for being arrogant, but what she's doing not directly is she's not directly going for the throat, because that would then create this defense mechanism instead of an actual productive conversation.
Okay. There have been times in our relationship where I would say, sweetheart, I've been producing podcasts for years. Like I need the marker. Can you give me the marker? Let me drive, right? Let me lead. So sometimes you got to say, let me lead if it's your area of expertise. And you did the same thing with home. Real estate stuff, and then with numbers, I did that. So you got to understand yourself and your partner and where your expertise is, so that your yin is yanging. It's really important. All right, we got to jump. So do a check-in at very least. Figure out time perspective with your partner, and if your partner's not humble, you're in trouble. Mm-hmm. Like that just keeps jumping off the page for me. If you don't have a humble partner who is willing to say, you know what I know is very limited, what I don't know is limitless, with an open mind and an open heart, and the willingness to work on the relationship, you're in some serious trouble. Like, you can't really improve a relationship with one partner who doesn't want to work. Yeah. So that's jumping off the page for me. Okay. Yeah. If you have not yet booked a Relationship Talks coaching session, we started Service Saturday 5 years ago, and we started out with 30-minute sessions. For an entire year and a half we did this, and then we had to kind of stop because we had a huge roster going. Mm-hmm. But the first one is still free. Only the first one, but the first one is free. The link will be in the show notes.
Also in the show notes will be a link for you to register for our next Relationship Talks event. This will actually be the third Thursday. I know the last couple events have been on a Wednesday. This is on a Thursday because group coaching is finally going to change. Anyways, long story short, the topic itself is the communication essentials that relationships need to thrive. And so join us there. You don't have to be on camera. You can join in at your level of comfort. We've had people in the Conscious Couple community on the ride with their kids, and it's quite a powerful event. So join in that link to register, and we'll see you there.
As always, it's not about you or me. It's about the we.
we.
We'll talk to you next time.
Bye, everyone.
Thanks for joining us for another episode of the Conscious Couples podcast. We love connecting with the Conscious Couples community, so please check the show notes to connect with us and say hello on social media.
If you and your partner resonated with this episode, please leave us a 5-star review at the link in the show notes and share this with someone you love. Until next time, it's not about you or me, it's about the we. We'll talk to you next time.